Let's take our viewers back to, in fact, where Ayanda Nyathi is. He's in Diepkloof. We saw those snaking queues, of course, as Eskom races against time to of course, introduce these prepaid meter recoding systems. So let's take you back to where Ayanda is and listen in. Ayanda, if you can hear us, has there been any movement so far? Because you've been queuing there since around 8 a.m. this morning. We've just, of course, crossed also to Calvin Lula, who's given a very grim picture in that that facility where he is at the service center of Eskom, there's been no movement whatsoever. In fact, it is closed. No Eskom officials on site and inside. Just talk to us about what you are experiencing where you are.
We're at. I just don't know how sustainable something like this is, especially given how long many of the people here have been. There hasn't really been communication around the extent to which this makeshift system will work. It almost seems like one gentleman who's holding the rope was just asked to do that until he moves forward. So there's a desperate need for a whole lot more organization outside of having the message land in the home. For many people here, from the engagements we've had, who simply don't understand what is going on. I mean, I think, take it for granted that the messages that we interact with or that we engage with are clear enough. But in many instances, it seems that sometimes it's not. I mean, the official message from the power utility is that these meters, these prepaid meters, have been installed with the software that dates back to 1993. If you have been paying for electricity, then your software would be able to update when you buy, for example, your next voucher to recharge. However, for many people who are here, it almost feels like some kind of doomsday on Sunday. And I suppose part of the reason for that is that many of them haven't been buying electricity. They've heard that the meters will become inoperable and are therefore scrambling to get here. But the case is not the same for everyone. Anyway, let me engage one of the residents who says he's been here since last night and has just emerged from the gates behind us. Sanibona baba ninjani? Siyaphila. Cela usichazele nje ukuthi wena ufike nini lana ubusixoxela ofe ukuthi you've been here since last night, walala nakhona la?
Since ngifike la izolo 8:30 from
ebusuku.
Yes, ebusuku. From Emirolands. Mjampe Orlando, Kilani, Mzimtrope, and all those people bazala at Diepkloof bonke. So asinando esithola like most of voter. Uthola every corner. Kune skolo, kune hall, kunani, we vote easy. But for service delivery, I mean, this is part of service delivery. But we've got to struggle. Get to Psuku bonke la. Some they don't have cars. Kulele machine. Abanye balele chanini. Badale phansi ingubo.
Manje baba wena uqeda ukuphuma khona la kule facility le bathini phakathi?
Lapha phakathi bathathe nje into ezithukile. Icard lase Eskom, inumber ne cell phone number yami. For all these hours ngizilele la. Nothing had happened. After that, iloko nje cell number ne card number. Then I must go wait for an SMS.
Oh, so is that the explanation? Because I was going to ask you, ukuthi mabachazela ukuthi yini le okumele uyi-email bathini?
But I'll take it from the SMS. Bazothumela SMS.
Kwaphela lapho nje?
Kwaphela lapho. But their deadline was on Sunday. Mongalungisanga Sunday. Now the lady says, if on electric, don't worry. You understand? Don't worry if on electric. Sizakuthumela SMS. Why pushing ngaka ukuthi sizolala la? For just ungena for a minute. Ngilele how many hours? From 8 to 8 is 12 hours, about 14-15 hours ngila.
Siyabonga kakhulu baba, because you've been waiting for so long. I'll allow you to go. I know you've been engaging us also about ways in which Eskom can work better. You know, I mean, given how far you've come, you were mentioning, Guti, at least if there was a center close to you, that would have helped.
Yes, they do that well. Kukhona Emirolands Civic Center, kukhona ikolo la kuvotelwa khona, khona maholo. I mean, angaze ngazovota la. from Eminolens. Why should I come to Diepkloof for service deliveries? It's unfair.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I mean, he's been very patient with us. Unathi has been here, as you've heard, for a couple of hours. I'm going to speak to a whole lot more people. Sanbonama. Siyaphila. Now Sologula Sukambi's card.
If you like England, and is 2 days. If you get Izolo, 12 a.m. Sizing in Izolo as I must attend. Minister Marafika, like Usebisa Uti, Amanzi Akona, hey, like should like used to tell when I'm attending, Amazama Amlens, Amapoisa. Next, Minister Uti has failed. And then Latina, Simes Lambida, Aguna, when Abukoba fainter, when I want to buy Alpha. Like ask Gabagilu, Mr. Wait, why is the so minister?
Do you understand why you have to be here? Just in plainly speaking, when they explain it to you.
Yeah, understand, Baba. Since Ibu Watch, I'm not understand. Why? Because of assistance. Asina mali. Must la go Eskom sizokhala futhi. Khona abantu abangakwazi nokudla. Uminister kayicabanga lento loyo. Makathi like baba 1500 sithatha phi imali. Asisebenzi. Senzeni? Siluthe okwenzakaleni. Akakhuluma uminister. Akasiclarify ngoba bathi thina si-angry so umphakathi esi-angry and sivotile enemaka like shothi like yazini asisala malungelo manje sifeyiliwe.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. There you have it, raw sentiments from many of the people who are here, in some ways giving an ultimatum to the government, to whoever might be listening and is in charge. And it's a very interesting and complex situation because the electricity minister, in one of the media briefings this week, spoke about how the software upgrade will inadvertently help Eskom towards something he called income protection. Essentially, he was speaking, and I'm paraphrasing, about how this upgrade will sift through the people who are paying for electricity and those, like many here who've conceded, who have not been for a couple of years. But this introduces a brand new problem. Many of them who we've spoken to have been very open about what they did, conceding that perhaps they shouldn't have, but they point to the very real socio-economic conditions that have pushed them towards that direction, a situation which is well documented in a country like ours. And so a new question emerges about if the government concedes that there are, for example, many indignant consumers, how much assistance is being provided for them, especially those who are conceding that this has happened and are coming out in these queues, spending hours. I suppose that's going to be the different question that many of us are going to have to grapple with. People are saying we haven't been paying for electricity. We understand that our meters are about to become inoperable. We are here to concede to the crime, if you like, and yet, despite that, the help is not forthcoming. At least is not enough. Let me put it that way. The capacity to respond to that challenge isn't enough. And quite frankly, I'm not quite sure how you deal with that as things stand. And the minister has already said in the past that, quite frankly, they do anticipate protests by Monday, and that is because by then, of course, these meters that haven't been recoded, we're told, will have an automatic switch off. They'll become inoperable, and because people will not have electricity, as we've seen in the past, they're likely to take to the streets. And I suppose the South African story continues. So the MEC, as I mentioned, Jacob Mamabolo, is inside. He arrived a few moments ago. He's asked for time just to get to the bottom of what the strategy is inside this particular facility. As soon as he pops out, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to engage him and pose these questions to him as somebody hopefully who's able to do something about what we're seeing here.
Ayanda, thank you so much for that. Of course, we will come back to you as soon as you are able to then engage with the MEC. Thank you so much for that, Ayanda Nyathi, there for us in Diepkloof. Of course,